Let's prepare to read chapter 6 of the book Engaging with God by David Peterson. This book starts to explore the Pauline epistles. This chapter and next chapter will look at Paul's writings, and while Paul does not present a completely developed theology of worship, but that doesn't mean he has nothing relevant to say about worship. In fact, he used worship terminology that we're familiar with from previous chapters, but he used them in a transformed sense. That's the main thing you're going to be watching for in this chapter. Now, he starts with Thessalonians, and in 1 Thessalonians, he draws a contrast between idolatry versus the worship of the one true God. And then much of his time in this chapter is spent looking at Romans. Romans starts with the human refusal to give proper worship and service to God, but how Jesus has come and made a sacrifice that makes it possible for us all to enter into the worship of God. But chapter 12, verses 1 and 2, that's the main pivot in the book of Romans. He spends a lot of time looking at that, and you're going to see how he gives a radically new understanding to worship in Romans 12, 1 and 2. And watch for how Paul uses some of those same familiar words and terms and those worship concepts, but how he uses them in completely new ways. And note how he views his own life and his own ministry as a form of worship to God. And then when you get into the book of Philippians, you'll see again how there's these key worship terms that Paul's going to use to describe his relationship with the Philippians and his work in ministry on their behalf. And then in the next chapter, we'll look at the rest of Paul's letters and look at how he actually addresses specific worship issues in the life of the church. But today you're looking for the theological underpinnings of Paul's concept of worship, mainly through how he uses familiar worship terminology. God bless you as you study chapter 6.